Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie Bree, and this video is going to be a little bit longer than my last video in this series because there's a lot more to cover and a lot more nuances, and these are a lot more complicated than the video cassettes. We're talking about home video formats, the discs. So again, I'm speaking strictly in the North American market, so there is not going to be anything Japan or Europe or PAL exclusive in this video because I just don't know anything about it. And this stuff gets way more complicated with the acronyms than VHS and Betamax does, because there's a lot of overlap and similarities between different formats, which is confusing. I'll do my best to make it less confusing. So, the formats I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to not get into the technical stuff or the history or any of that. I'm just going to talk about what you could do with the formats and, by and large, what they were and how collectible they are. Why didn't this light? I hate it when they don't light. So the formats we're talking about are LaserDisc, Capitance Electrical Disc System, CED, CD video, compact disc digital video, video CD, movie CD, DivX DVD, DVD, HD DVD, DIVX DVD. I know. Blu-ray disc and Super video CD. Let's get into it. The home video market starts in the 1970s with the invention of LaserDisc. LaserDiscs were the first ways you could buy movies, Hollywood movies, at home. Technically, you could get some films, 16mm and things like that, but by and large, the way to get movies, home videos, started with LaserDisc. Laser discs are 12 inches in diameter, which means they're the size of a vinyl record. They're glossy, reflective, like a compact disc or a DVD, which you're familiar with. And they are analog, like a VHS or a Betamax, which means they are not digital. But they have digital audio, which is confusing to some people because a lot of people don't know that. LaserDiscs come in two varieties, CAV and CLV. You can Google the differences. Basically, one version could hold 30 minutes of video and had special features, and the other version could hold on one side, and the other version can hold 60 minutes of video on one side and had no special features. That's the summary. In the mid-80s, starting in 1985, RCA released their competition to LaserDisc, the CED disc. There are other YouTube videos out there that can explain the history and the nuances of CED better than I can. CED is basically an analog video signal on a record. Now that's oversimplifying it, but it's a black analog 12-inch disc with grooves. It looks like a record, and it uses a needle to read the disc. So if you take a CED disc out of its protective cartridge, it looks like a record. It does not look like a laser disc. It looks like a glossy record, sure, but it looks like a vinyl record. It does not look like a laser disc. Now, CEDs were held inside of a protective cartridge that looks like a giant floppy disk. You stick the entire thing inside the player. A mechanism in the player pulls the disc out, puts it in the the tray and spins and plays from that, and then you pull the cartridge out, and that's how you load a CED. Basically, without getting into the technical mumbo jumbo, picture quality, LaserDisc and CED are more or less the same. Now, CEDs could hold 1 hour of analog video per side, so you had to flip the disc over midway through the movie to watch a full-length movie, as you had to do with LaserDiscs. CED was an abstract failure. Nobody fucking bought CEDs. LaserDisc was not a massive success, but LaserDisc was not a failure. LaserDisc was on the market for 25 years. A product does not sell for 25 years if it's a failure. It gets maybe 10 years and then you pull it from the market if it's a failure. So let's dispel that myth. LaserDisc was not a failure. LaserDisc was not #1 in the home video market. It was actually 3rd place behind Betamax and VHS, but it was not a failure. Betamax was not a failure. Sony discontinued it because it was more economical for them to jump ship and get on board with VHS than it was to have a separate format going side by side. Betamax didn't fail. Betamax sold well enough. Sony could have kept selling Betamax machines, and Sony did keep selling Betamax machines and tapes for a long time after they stopped releasing movies on Betamax. So let's put that to rest. But let's push that aside. I just did my video on the tapes. Next, we have CD video. Now you're scratching your head. CD video is a LaserDisc the size of a compact disc. So it's a 12 centimeter LaserDisc, not a 12-inch LaserDisc. But it's still a LaserDisc. It is still analog video, and it will play in a LaserDisc player, as long as the LaserDisc player has a slot in the tray to hold the disc so it doesn't flop around. Otherwise, it's not a compatible player. Do not put your CD videos in your 1976 LaserDisc player. It will not play it. Unless it has a tray for CDs, compact discs, which some LaserDisc players were also CD players. So if your LaserDisc player is also a CD player, it's probably also a CD video player, but that's neither here nor there. CD video was mostly used for music videos. This came out in the 80s when MTV was king of the world. Next, we have compact disc digital video. This was an exclusive format to the CDI, Compact Disc Interactive Player by Philips. This was a CDI disc, not a video game, but a CDI compatible disc that had a movie on it. This was very short-lived. While they were developing this, Sony and friends were also developing the compact disc digital video CD. So you have the CDI DV, and then you have this the video CD or VCD. CDI digital video and video CD are not compatible. You cannot put a CDI digital video disc in your DVD player that's compatible with video CDs and expect it to play. It most likely won't. And I say most likely because, you know, high-end players had high levels of compatibility, but that's neither here nor there. Video CD and CDI video on a technical level are the same. They are a VHS quality digital video on a CD. More or less. So you could fit 60 minutes of video on one disc. Excuse me, I think it was 80 minutes of video. You could fit 80 minutes of video on one disc. which still isn't enough for a 90-minute movie, but it's more than a LaserDisc. So, video CD and CDI digital video, well, I'm only talking about the North American market here, were sold in the U.S. from 1993 to 1996, and then they were discontinued. So, Philips, under their Polygram label, did release movies, home movie videos, Hollywood movies on video CD in the U.S. market. These are rare and hard to find. Video CD is more popular in Asian markets, so by and large, most video CDs that are floating around come from Japan or Korea or other places like that, other Asian countries. But you can still find Polygram video CDs that were sold in North America. They do still exist. They're out there. They're just rare and harder to identify and harder to find. Next, you have movie CD. Movie CD was by Warner Brothers, and it was not compatible with video CD. So if you have a 3DO or a PlayStation with the MPEG-1 video card that lets you play video CDs in your player, or you have a standalone video CD player, or you have a DVD player with video CD playback capability, movie CDs will not play in that. And this is across the board. There is no compatibility because movie CDs do not have a video file on the disc in a format your player can read. Movie CDs have a video file that only your computer can read. Your Windows 95, 98, XP, etc. computer could read. And the disc has the software player also on the disc. So when you bought a movie CD, you had to install the video player, which included the codec to be able to play back the video. And then you could watch the movie on your computer. This is another short-lived format that most people don't remember. Next, we have DVD, which is just DVD. It doesn't stand for anything. It's not digital video disc. It's not digital versatile disc, like some people say. It's just DVD. It doesn't stand for anything. It's just DVD. DVD, I don't have to explain. You know DVD. DVDs come in two formats. They come in single layer, where you can hold 4.7 gigabytes of data, which is about 3.5 to 4 hours of ED quality video, not SD, like people claim. They're not SD. SD is VHS. These are ED quality, extended definition. They're a little bit higher res than standard definition, but because high definition came along, we had to have an backronym for what came before high definition, so people label these as standard definition when they're not technically standard definition. So let's get that out of the way. But the reason why I say that is there are DVD compatible digital ED TVs. There are television screens, widescreen plasma TVs that are at the 720 by 480 DVD resolution. These are ED TVs. That's what DVD is. DVD is more or less LaserDisc picture quality on a disc the size of a CD. I say more or less because it's LaserDisc resolution, but it's digital instead of analog. So you get a little clearer picture because you don't have the analog noise that you get on a LaserDisc. However, they are still interlaced, so it's not that much better. Now I say essentially because LaserDisc is 640 by 480i and DVDs are 720 by 480i. So you get a little wider screen picture-wise on a DVD than you get a LaserDisc. So there is that. DVDs are everywhere. Everyone has DVDs. And then you had dual layer DVDs, which could just hold twice as much information, so they could have twice as many episodes of TV shows on them, or more movie, bonus features or director's cuts, things like that. That's essentially what DVD was. Then you had DivX DVD. Capital D, lowercase I, lowercase v, capital X. DivX. DivX was created by Circuit City, and you could only buy these players at Circuit City, and you had to have a subscription, a monthly subscription, to play your discs. So you would buy a movie at Circuit City, take the player home, plug your phone line into it, and it would connect through the internet, dial-up internet, and it would authenticate your account, assuming that your account was active, and it would play back your disc. Once you stopped paying for the subscription, your discs didn't play back anymore. This was a very short-lived format. And then you have DivX DVDs. And you're scratching your head. What the fuck is the difference? DivX is a AVI codec that that would play back on your computer. So you would take a DVD disc, rip the video, the MPEG-2 video from the DVD, and using certain software I'm not talking about, re-encode it into an AVI format. We'll say Jurassic Park.avi, and that would use the DivX codec. There were DVD players, DivX compatible players, that you could take a DivX video, burn it to a recordable disc, a CDR, pop it in the player, and play it through the player on your TV. As far as I know, nobody released videos on this format. This was used exclusively for piracy and home videos, presumably. Then you have HD DVD and Blu-ray disc. I'm going to talk about these together because I've already done a video on these two formats. HD DVD and Blu-ray disc are essentially, from a home video perspective, the same thing. They're 1920 by 1080p. They're the same thing. They're AVC codec or VC1 codec or MPEG 4 codec. Their video is the same. The video file on an HD DVD disc is the same exact video file on the comparable Blu-ray disc. It's the same. Your computer can't tell the difference because it's the same goddamn file. Now, from a computer standpoint, HD DVDs were technically inferior to Blu-ray because they could only hold 30 gigabytes on a dual layer disc, 15 gigabytes on a single layer disc, whereas Blu-ray could hold 25 gigabytes on a single layer disc, 50 gigabytes on a dual layer disc, and up to 100 gigabytes on a 4-layer disc, which Blu-ray could do 4-layer discs. HD DVD, well, presumably could have had they kept developing them, but they can't because they were never made. If you're into collecting home videos and you want to buy a movie on high definition, like let's say Smokey and the Bandit, for example, this is one I had on HD DVD, so I know it's on HD DVD. And you want to save money, presumably, the HD DVD is usually less expensive than the Blu-ray. Now, I say usually because HD DVDs are more collectible now, and Blu-rays are more mass market now, so, like, they've come down in price. But in my experience, HD DVDs were less expensive than Blu-rays, but that may have changed since then. And it's been 10 years since I bought HD DVD, so take this with a grain of salt, please. But from a video collector standpoint, HD DVDs and Blu-rays are basically the same thing. Basically. Now, I skipped over Super Video CD because that was not released in America. American video, the format was, I mean, players that could play the discs were released in America, and the discs are just CDs, so you could burn Super Video CD movies onto a blank CDR and play it back in your DVD player, sure. Or you could import Super Video CD movies from Japan and they would play on your player. But Hollywood studios did not sell movies on the Super Video CD format in North America. As far as I know, they didn't. And then you have ultraviolet, or not ultraviolet, 4K Blu-ray, which is it ultraviolet? I think it is. 4K Blu-ray. Which is just a higher definition than the HD on the Blu-ray. Ultra HD, as it's called. As of today, as of right now, 4K Blu-rays are the highest quality, picture quality home video format you can get on disc. And I have to emphasize on disc, because there are digital only formats that are not on disc that I'm going to talk about in another video. So, as far as I know, those are the ones that were sold in North America, with videos released by movie studios. Now, going in terms of popularity, DVD is number 1, Blu-ray was number 2, then LaserDisc, and then everything else falls under that. So far under that they're not even worth talking about. As a collector, you want LaserDisc, DVD, Blu-ray. You don't want HD DVD. You'll never find movie CD. If you Google movie CD, you're just going to find video CDs anyways, so good luck finding movie CDs. And even if you have a LaserDisc player, there's no reason to own CD videos because they're just music videos. You can get those on YouTube for fucking free. And in high definition. So that's everything about home video discs. Stay cool.